So when do you finally hit the breaking point to where as though you're like, you know what? I'm done being a criminal. I want to change my life. I have kids now. Like when do you change your life around?
So the craziest part, bro, is like when I did that 6 months, you know what I mean? And my daughter thought I was in China. I was literally down the street from her, but I couldn't see her because I told her I was in China and I didn't want her to see me like that. During that time, I think that's when it was like, yo, because I raised my daughter by myself since she was 3. So during those times we was on the phone, she'll be crying some nights and just being like, you know, I don't care about money. I don't want you to make money no more. I just want you to come home. I want things to be like they used to be. I miss you, da, da, da. And I'm not gonna lie to you. During those times, it was the hardest time for me emotionally in jail because I was sitting there just breaking down because this human being is needing you and you can't be there for them, you know, no amount of money or nothing. So when I got out, it was like, yo, I had money put up. You know, I was the mother of my sons at the time. She was in the street still, so she was hitting my licks and everything. So literally while I was gone to 6 months, I think I made almost $250,000. So when I came home.
While you were in the feds?
No, not in the feds. The 6 months I was in the county when my daughter was born. So not only she was hitting the licks, I had a couple of my boys that were hitting licks to where they were like, yo, we knew these people through you and we know you was gone. So this for you when I came home. You know, they just dropped the bag. So I came home to a good amount of bread and I was like, you know what? I know how to grow weed like a motherfucker. California is legal. I had fucked around with some people out there, invested in some dispensaries. And I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to just move to California and go legit and still do what I know how to do and not have to worry about nothing no more. So that was my attempt. I left right when I got out, literally 2 months later, we picked up and left to California, moved out there. I invested in a bunch of warehouses, growing, doing all this shit. And bro, like everything went downhill, bro. Like I literally lost everything. You know what I mean? Lost everything. I think I lost almost like 700,000 in 1 year just trying to invest. But at the same time, it was like when I moved to Cali thinking like, yo, I grow weed. I know what I'm doing. You know, when I was growing weed here, it's like, we try to keep it on the low. You know, we just worried about the cops. But when you got to understand is that when you move to a place where it's legal, you don't just worry about the cops now. They got crews that go around looking for these spots randomly and just break into them. And so that happened to me. I had a couple places get hit. Next thing you know, I'm broke. I ain't know what to do, literally. You know what I'm saying? And I had one warehouse left. I had some workers working with me. They left me too because I ran out of money. And I was just like, I just got to roll my sleeves back up and get back to my grind. Yeah. So I got into growing and I went back to the streets. You know what I mean? I went back to Houston and just started getting put back on. And I'm not going to lie to you. It was like overnight. I bounced back like crazy. And at that point, it was like, you know what? I've accepted my life. This is what I'm good at. This is what I'm going to do. You know, like it was too easy at the time. And this was 2014, 2015. If you would have met me, I would have told you I'm going to be involved in selling dope for the rest of my life because it's too easy. Like I just pick up the phone and I ain't got to be there and I'm going to make 5-10 bands real quick. So it was like, why I'm going to leave it alone? You know what I mean? It's been good to me. You know, like everything else failed. This worked out. And as long as I could provide and give my children, or at the time, my daughter, the life that she deserves, which was me trying to give her a straight life, that's what I'm going to have to do. You know what I mean? And it was crazy. That's what it was. So I tend to tell people like, as much as it might suck to say, like I never really had that breaking point. When I did, it didn't work out. So I was like, fuck that. But, so when I went back to Houston, I'm going back to doing my thing. Of course, you know, money come up, I'm buying jewelry more again. And, Iceman Nick was basically the main jeweler I was dealing with. I was dealing with, you know, Johnny Dang. I was dealing with Ben Baller, New York Jewelers. I was really known back there for buying a lot of jewelry. I spent a lot of money and, I had friends that spent a lot of money. So we was just buying jewels up left to right. I'd spend more time at Nick's store, whether buying jewelry or just kicking it. And, I kind of started like, I'm really artistic. So I started kind of like helping Nick with designs, just creativity, shit like that. And kind of like one day he just kind of presented the deal to me like, you ever thought about being a jeweler? And I'll never forget because I was like, nah, you know, like why? Because like for me, a jeweler is somebody that's been, you got to have family in it. You got to be Middle Eastern or Jewish. You got to be blessed to that shit, literally. So for me, all the years that I was buying jewelry or sometimes I middleman jewelry, I was a middleman. I wasn't a jeweler. You know what I mean? I can't take that name. So I even brought that to his attention. Like, how can I be a jeweler if that? And Nick was like, look, you know what I'm saying? Like, you bring me so much business as it is. It actually helped me if you did decide I want to try this out. And he's like, I'll make you a deal. I'm going to give you the plug and I'm going to show you the invoices and everything. And all you got to do is, our agreement was everything 50-50. Whatever we make profit-wise, we just split down the middle. So I was just like, shit, I'll give it a try. You know what I mean? Like, we'll try it. You know what I mean? And like I was saying, like, bro, even to this day, me and him talk about it. We never thought this shit would have did what it did. You know what I mean? And blow up the way it did.
You're making all this money selling weed and selling drugs. Do you stop cold turkey when you start the jewelry? Because, you know, the drug money, once that comes, it's like...
It's too easy.
Like it's too easy.
You know what I mean? And like I said, like I didn't. I was still like, when I decided to be a jeweler on January 1st, 2015, it was like, okay, I'm going to invest a little time into this and see how it works out. But I'm not going to depend on this. I'm going to depend on what I know. So I'm going to keep doing what I know. And I kept that going. Like, I ain't even going to lie to you. Like, a lot of my deals in the beginning, I was trading for work for jewelry. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever worked. Shit, I'm a double dip and get my bread, you know?